Everyone, welcome to the channel Learn and Heal. Today we are going to discuss about the purpose of assessment. This is the fifth lecture of the chapter Basics of Assessment in the subject Assessment of Learning. So we'll be discussing about the different purpose of assessment one by one. So we'll move to the first. Assessment drives instruction. Before starting the teaching process, teacher by using pre-test or need assessment could find what the student already know. That is, if a new session is gonna start, before starting the session, teacher can conduct a test or teacher can ask questions to check the prior knowledge of the student. So teacher can get a clear understanding of what the students know and what they don't know. Teacher can use this previous knowledge as a stepping place to develop new knowledge in students through his teaching. So students are telling something, okay, they got the basic idea about this content very well, okay, then we can go to some advanced level immediately. That idea teacher will be getting only through this prior test. By testing students' learning now and then throughout instruction, the teacher could constantly revise and refine his teaching to meet the diverse need of the student. So if you are revising continuously, maybe sometimes some portions students may not be able to understand properly. So to teach that, teacher can go with other methods of teaching. So all this can be done. And the other purpose is assessment drives learning. What and how students learn depends to a major extent on how they think they will be assessed. If the student know that they will be assessed in terms of their marks, then students will be learning in a much better way. That is what this statement is telling. What and how students learn depends to a major extent on how they think they will be assessed. Assessment practices must send the right signal to the students about what to study, how to study, and the relative time to spend on concepts and skill in a course. So these practices will be giving clear-cut idea to a student about his learning practices. So this is the time you have to spend for this particular concept. No need to spend too much time there. The course is demanding some other things. Course is giving important on some other topics, and you have to study this in a different way. You have to solve it if it is a problem. You have to write it and learn. So all kind of signals will be given by this assessment practices. Accomplished faculty communicate clearly what students need to know and be able to do both through a clearly articulated syllabus and by choosing the assessment carefully in order to direct student energies. Like teacher should be giving a clear cut idea where you have to give your energy in terms of the curriculum. So which are the all the focus areas and how you have to proceed through your learning. So with respect to the syllabus, the faculty should communicate very clearly to the students what they need to do and what are the things they have to understand, everything with respect to the syllabus. High expectations for learning result in students taking increased efforts and rise to the occasion. If people are expecting very much from this particular student, student will try to put his all the efforts to improve his performance so that he will be getting an improvement in his learning process. Then the third point, assessment informs students of their progress. Not only to the teacher, but also assessment help the student to know about their personal level of progress in learning and how far their efforts have been fruitful. to get motivated in learning by getting feedback from assessment now and then regarding their strength and shortcoming in the learning. If the student is getting to know about his performance in the class and how his personal growth is happening, he will be interested to hear about that, and if there is some mistakes happening, he can able to rectify that in the next part of the assessment, and to take remedial measures based on the feedback obtained from the assessment. Yes, the assessment, after the assessment, check the feedback. If the feedback is good, okay, we have to make it better. If the feedback is not that much good, okay, what we have to do as a remedial measure to get better in the next examination, next assessment, that can be done by the students. Students become aware of their strength and challenges with respect to the course learning outcomes. So after the assessment, student will be getting the idea, okay, this is my strength, this subject is my strength, and this subject is by my weakness. So I have to focus on this weak subject plenty of time so that I can score a better mark. Assessment help the teacher to know the effectiveness of their instructional method. Reflection on student accomplishments offer teachers insight on the effectiveness of their teaching strategies. Teacher can able to understand whether his or her teaching strategies are up to the level by seeing the achievements of the student. The achievement or the marks scored by the student is the proof that the teacher is instructing in a good way or bad way. So if it is not, teacher can able to change or adapt necessary modification in their teaching, based upon which they can adopt necessary modification in their teaching so as to enhance its effectiveness. Teaching should be effective only if the teacher's participation or the involvement in the instruction is very good. Then the knowledge from the feedback indicates to the instructor how to improve instruction, where to strengthen teaching, and what areas are well understood and therefore may be cut back in the future course. The knowledge from feedback indicates to the instructor how to improve instruction, where to strengthen teaching, and what areas are well understood and therefore may be cut back in future courses. That is, the instructor will be getting a clear cut idea from the feedback whether they have to improve their instruction, or whether which area they have to strengthen their teaching, or which area students are very knowledgeable, so that in the further process of teaching that area is not no need of including that particular area. If the student is weak in this particular area, okay, in the future course also that content should come, so that students will be getting more knowledge about that. Fifth one is assessment grades students on the basis of their level of learning achievements. Assessment help to find whether the level of a student learning achievement is on par with the level of accepted standard or not, and decide accordingly to promote him or her to the next higher class. So the assessment will give the clear cut idea about, okay, the student is up to the level, so we can promote him to the next class. If he is not up to the level, okay, we can detain him in the same class, let him learn it again. Grade often fail to tell us clearly about large learning such as critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, communication skills, social skills, and emotional skills. Always we grade the student through the assessment, right? So we are assessing only theoretical knowledge of the student. We are not assessing their critical thinking skill, their problem solving skill, their communication skill like oral, written, or the listening skill, and their social and emotional skills are not assessing. So that is a limitation, you can say. Assessment grades students according to their proficiency attained in learning. Of course, if they are proficient, they'll be getting higher mark. If they are not that much proficient, they'll be getting lower marks. So it is graded, the assessment grade the students according to their proficiency attained in learning. Then the last point is helping the teacher. This assessment, the purpose of assessment, the last point is helping the teacher to take remedial measures when the student learning is not up to the expected level. From the feedback data obtained from the assessment, the teacher could understand in which area or the portion of the content taught students' performance is not satisfactory. If you assess or analyze the feedback data obtained from the assessment, you can get the clear idea about in which areas students performance is not satisfactory and which area there is a need of improvement. Everything can be understood, so it helps the teacher to make the remedial measures, remedial teaching, or whatever needed to make the student come up to the expected level. So these are the purpose of assessment, 6 purpose of assessment. That's it for the session. Thank you very much.